Let's begin the test with our first question, and the question states, which of the following ports are used for file transfers? Choose 2. Is it A, port 20? Is it B, port 443? Is it C, port 993? Is it D, port 80? Or is it E, port 21? You now have 5 seconds. Okay, let us now see the correct answer, but before that, make sure to remember that in this specific exam, the official CompTIA exam, there will be questions with one single correct answer or with multiple correct answers. There could be questions with 4 answers to choose from, there could be questions with 5 answers to choose from, or even 6 answers. Make sure to keep that in mind. And now referring back to our questions, the correct answers are A and E, port 20 and port 21. Okay, so talking about port 20 and 21, these two ports are used for the FTP protocol or file transfer protocol. Port 21 is used to establish the connection between the two computers and port 20 to transfer data. Okay, let us now analyze the incorrect answers. Port 443 is the standard port for HTTPS or Hypertext Transfer Protocol secure traffic. You can understand port 443 as a web browsing port used to secure web browsing communication or HTTPS services. HTTPS is a secure version of the HTTP protocol that uses the SSL/TLS protocol for encryption and authentication. HTTPS is specified by the RFC 2818 and uses port 443 by default instead of HTTP's port 80. The HTTPS protocol makes it possible for website users to transmit sensitive data such as credit card numbers, banking information, and login credentials securely over the internet. For this reason, HTTPS is especially important for securing online activities such as shopping, banking, and remote work. Port 993 is represented by the IMAP protocol. In computing, the Internet Message Access Protocol, or IMAP, is an internet standard protocol used by email clients to retrieve email messages from a mail server over a TCP/IP connection. IMAP is defined by RFC 3501. The Internet Message Access Protocol, or IMAP, is a mail protocol used for accessing email on a remote web server from a local client. Port 993, this is the port that you need to use if you'd like to connect using IMAP securely. Port 80 is represented by HTTP or Hypertext Transfer Protocol. You can understand port 80 as a web browsing port. That, in comparison to port 443 or HTTPS, it is an unsecure form of communication. It connects you to the World Wide Web. A user, with the help of this port, can connect to web pages available on the internet. It means unencoded data exchanges takes place between the user's browser and the server using this port. I hope that everything is clear so far. If so, let us pass to our next question. And question number 2 states, you would like to troubleshoot a desktop computer that beeps during the boot process and the screen remains dark. Which of the following would be the best next troubleshooting steps? Is it A, document the findings? Is it B, check the results? Is it C, establish a theory? Or is it D, implement a solution? You now have 5 seconds. Before attempting the official CompTIA exam, make sure that you are familiar with the CompTIA 6-step troubleshooting methodology. It is extremely important to memorize this methodology, not only for the exam, but also for whenever you will work in the IT industry. It will make your work so much easier. Okay, so the correct answer is C, to establish a theory. Okay, let us now jump to our third question, and the question states, you would like to create 4 VMs, and these will use a part of a server's available physical memory. Which of these options best describe this cloud computing characteristic? Is it A, hybrid? Is it B, resource pooling? Is it C, public? Is it D, IaaS? Or is it E, metered? You now have 5 seconds. So in order to be able to answer correctly to this question, you must first be familiar with what a virtual machine is. A virtual machine, or a VM, is a virtual environment that functions as a virtual computer system with its own CPU, memory, network interface, and storage created on a physical hardware system located off or on premises. Software called a hypervisor separates the machine's resources from the hardware and provisions them appropriately so they can be used by the VM. The physical machines equipped with a hypervisor, such as a kernel-based virtual machine, or KVM, is called a host machine, host computer, host operating system, or simply host. The many VMs that use its resources are guest machines, guest computers, guest operating systems, or simply just guests. The hypervisor treats compute resources like CPU, memory, and storage as a pool of resources that can easily be relocated between existing guests or to new virtual machines. VMs are isolated from the rest of the system, and multiple VMs can exist on a single piece of hardware like a server. They can be moved between host servers depending on the demand or to use resources more efficiently. And the correct answer is B, resource pooling. The provider's computing resources are pooled to serve multiple consumers using a multi-tenant model, with different physical and virtual resources dynamically assigned and reassigned according to the consumer demand. Examples of a resource include storage, processing, memory, and network bandwidth. Okay, let us now analyze the incorrect answers. A cloud deployment model works as your virtual computing environment with a choice of deployment model depending on how much data you want to store and who has access to the infrastructure. A hybrid cloud is a combination of two or more infrastructure, private, community, VPC, public cloud, and dedicated servers. Every model with a hybrid is a separate system, but they are all part of the same architecture. A typical deployment model example of a hybrid cloud solution is when a company stores critical data on a private cloud and less sensitive information on a public cloud. Another use case is when a portion of a firm's data cannot legally be stored on a public cloud. The public cloud model is the most widely used cloud service. This cloud type is a popular option for web applications, file sharing, and non-sensitive data storage. The service provider owns and operates all the hardware needed to run a public cloud. Providers keep devices in massive data centers. The public cloud delivery model plays a vital role in development and testing. Developers often use public cloud infrastructure for development and testing purposes. Its virtual environment is cheap and can be configured easily and deployed quickly, making it perfect for test environments. Okay, so IaaS is a cloud service that provides basic computing infrastructure like servers, storage, and networking resources. In other words, IaaS is a virtual data center. IaaS services can be used for a variety of purposes, from hosting websites to analyzing big data. Clients can install and use whatever operating systems and tools they like on the infrastructure they get. Major IaaS providers include Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and the Google Compute Engine. As with SaaS and PaaS, IaaS services are available on a pay-for-what-you-use model. Metered services are a prepaid offering, also referred as a la carte or committed offerings. A metered cloud service like Java Cloud Service, JCS, or Database Cloud Service, DBCS, is where you are charged based on the actual usage of the service resources on an hourly or monthly basis. A metered service allows the customer to select resource configurations for a service and virtually any volume or capacity to meet their requirements. For instance, you can select the number of Oracle Compute Processing Units, or CPUs, or the amount of memory. Customers can charge their service capacity as needed, and that will increase or decrease their bill. Metered services are recommended for customers who are able to predict the required usage. Okay, so I know that was a lot of babble, but I'm not trying to bore you with all of this. I'm only trying to provide you with as much info as I can, and hopefully it is clear enough. Okay, let us now jump to our fourth question, and the question states, which port is used by the DHCP protocol? Is it A, port 22? Is it B, port 23? Is it C, port 25? Is it D, port 67? Or is it E, port 53? You now have 5 seconds. Okay, so in order to be able to answer this question correctly, you first need to be familiar with what DHCP stands for. DHCP stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, and it's a network protocol used on IP networks where a DHCP server automatically assigns an IP address and other information to each host on the network so they can communicate efficiently with other endpoints. In addition to the IP address, DHCP also assigns the subnet mask, default gateway address, domain name server DNS address, and other pertinent configuration parameters. The primary reason DHCP is needed is to simplify the management of IP addresses on networks. No two hosts can have the same IP address, and configuring them manually will likely lead to errors. Even on small networks, manually assigning IP addresses can be confusing, particularly with mobile devices that require IP addresses on a non-permanent basis. And the correct answer is D, port 67. Okay, let us now analyze the incorrect answers. Port 22. SSH, also known as Secure Shell or Secure Socket Shell, is a network protocol that gives users, particularly system administrators, a secure way to access a computer over an unsecured network. In addition to providing secure network services, SSH refers to the suite of utilities that implement the SSH protocol. Secure Shell provides strong password authentication and public key authentication, as well as encrypted data communication between the two computers connecting over an open network, such as the internet. In addition to providing strong encryptions, SSH is widely used by network admins for managing systems and applications remotely, enabling them to log in to another computer over a network, execute commands, and move files from one computer to the other. Port 23 is being represented by Telnet. Telnet stands for Teletype Network, and it was developed in 1969. Telnet is a terminal emulation program that is used to access remote servers. It's a simple command line tool that runs on a computer and will allow you to send remote commands to a server and administer that server just as you would be sitting in front of it. Telnet can also be used to manage other network devices such as routers and switches. The main difference between Telnet and SSH or Secure Shell is that with Telnet all the commands are sent in clear text, so there's no encryption. It means that if you would send commands to a server via Telnet, someone might capture that information and clearly see sensitive information such as username and password using a program called Wireshark. Port 25 is being represented by the SMTP or Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. It's a protocol that is being used for sending email. SMTP is a set of commands that authenticates and directs the transfer of emails. A good way of remembering what SMTP stands for is by looking at the acronym SMTP and associating it with the phrasing sending mail to people, just as you would do in order to remember the 7 layers of the OSI model or Open System Interconnect. The 7 layers of the OSI model are physical, data link, network, transport, session, presentation, and application. And you could associate it with the phrasing, please do not throw sausage pizza away. It's a fun and easy way to remember the 7 layers of the OSI model. Okay, so for the last incorrect answer, port 53. DNS or Dynamic Name Services is a translation service. It translates names like google.com into a computer-readable IP address. It works on UDP or User Datagram Protocol, port 53. Okay, let us now jump to our 5th question. And the question states, choose from the next list the connection type that can provide multiple services over the same wire connection: voice, video, and internet. Is it A, cable? Is it B, VPN? Is it C, dial-up? Is it D, modem? Or is it E, ISDN? You now have 5 seconds. And the correct answer is A, cable. Cable is one of the most common types of internet connections, and you'll often find it bundled in with home phone services and TV packages. That makes sense because cable internet uses the same coaxial cable as cable TV. First, your internet service provider sends a data signal through the coaxial cable or coax cable into your home, specifically to your modem. The modem then uses an Ethernet cable to connect to your computer or router, which is what gives you access to high-speed internet. If you choose to use a router, you can then broadcast a Wi-Fi signal throughout your home. Okay, let us now see the incorrect answers. A VPN or a virtual private network gives you online privacy and anonymity by creating a private network from a public internet connection. VPNs mask your internet protocol or IP address, so your online actions are virtually untraceable. Most important, VPN services establish secure and encrypted connections to provide greater privacy than even a secured Wi-Fi hotspot. A dial-up internet access is a form of internet access that uses the facilities of a public switched telephone network, or PSTN, to establish a connection to an internet service provider, or ISP, by dialing a phone number on a conventional telephone line. Dial-up connections use modems to decode audio signals into data and send to a router or computer, and to encode signals from the latter to devices to send them to another modem. A modem is a small box that connects your devices to the internet using cables. Unlike a router, a modem doesn't provide your home with Wi-Fi connectivity. A modem acts as a digital translator, taking an information signal from your cable, fiber, or phone lines and making it accessible to your computer. ISDN, or Integrated Services Digital Network, is a circuit-switched telephone network system that transmits both data and voice over a digital line. You can also think of it as a set of communication standards to transmit data, voice, and signaling. These digital lines could be copper lines. It was designed to move outdated landline technology to digital. ISDN connections have a reputation for providing better speeds and higher quality than traditional connections. Faster speeds and better connections allow data transmissions to travel more reliably. Now for the sixth question, and the question states, what type of device is normally being used for security to filter and forward traffic based on a set of predefined rules? Is it A, a hub? Is it B, a modem? Is it C, a router? Is it D, a firewall? Or is it E, a repeater? You now have 5 seconds. And the correct answer is D, a firewall. Firewall is a network security device that monitors incoming and outgoing network traffic and decides whether to allow or block specific traffic based on a defined set of security rules. Firewalls have been a first line of defense in network security for over 25 years. They establish a barrier between secured and controlled internal networks that can be trusted and untrusted outside networks such as the internet. A firewall can be hardware, software, or both. The router is the piece of network hardware that allows communication between your local home network, like your personal computers and other connected devices, and the internet. Routers can also provide security. Embedded firewall and content filtering software provide an additional protection from unwanted content and malicious website without affecting your online experience. A modem is a small box that connects your devices to the internet using cables. Unlike a router, a modem doesn't provide your home with Wi-Fi connectivity. A modem acts as a digital translator, taking an information signal from your cable, fiber, or phone lines and making it accessible to your computer. Repeaters are network devices operating at the physical layer 1 of the OSI or Open System Interconnect model that amplify or regenerate an incoming signal before retransmitting it. They are incorporated in networks to expand its coverage area. They are also known as signal boosters. Repeaters amplify the attenuated signal and then retransmits it. Digital repeaters can even reconstruct signals distorted by transmission loss. Okay, let us now try a more difficult question. And the question states, you would like to install a number of IoT devices, cameras and thermostats in your own home. What option would be best suited in terms of security against hackers? Is it A, enable WPA2 on the installed devices? Is it B, disable the SSID? Is it C, configure DHCP on your network? Is it D, configure VPN? Or is it E, connect the newly installed devices to a DMZ? You now have 5 seconds. Okay, so in order to correctly answer this question, You must first be familiar with what IoT is. IoT, or Internet of Things devices, are pieces of hardware, such as sensors, actuators, gadgets, appliances, or machines that are programmed for certain applications and can transmit data over the internet or other networks. They can be embedded into other mobile devices, industrial equipment, environmental sensors, medical devices, and more. Some examples of IoT devices would be connected appliances, smart home security systems, autonomous farming equipment, wearable health monitors, etc. Okay, and the correct answer is E, to connect the newly installed devices to a DMZ, or a demilitarized zone. A demilitarized zone, or DMZ, is a perimeter network that protects an organization's internal local area network, or LAN, from untrusted traffic. The end goal of a DMZ is to allow an organization to access untrusted networks such as the internet while ensuring its private network, or LAN, remains secure. DMZ network provides a buffer between the internet and an organization's private network. The DMZ is isolated by a security gateway such as a firewall that filters traffic between the DMZ and a LAN. It is ideally located between two firewalls, and the DMZ firewall setup ensures incoming network packets are observed by a firewall or other security tools before they make it through to the servers hosted in the DMZ. This means that even if a sophisticated attacker is able to get past the first firewall, they must also access the hardened services in the DMZ before they can do damage to business. Okay, so for the next incorrect answer, enabling WPA2 on the installed devices. While Wi-Fi is a uniform standard, security is implemented per network. An IoT sensor must be configured to connect to the WLAN using three parameters: network discovery, authentication credentials, and device identity. It is a more complicated way to achieve security. A very important aspect of taking the CompTIA exam is to carefully read the question. It asks for the best way to protect the IoT devices against hackers, and in this instance, connecting them to the DMZ is the safest and most widely used method. SSID stands for Service Set Identifier, and it's your network's name. If you open the list of Wi-Fi networks on your laptop or phone, you'll see a list of SSIDs. Wireless router or access point broadcast SSIDs so nearby devices can find and display any available networks. Disabling SSID broadcast only hides the network's name, not the fact that it exists. This would show any hackers that are watching that you have a hidden network. As you cannot hide your own router's activity completely without turning it off, disabling the broadcast is a pretty superficial measure of security. It is also known as security through obscurity, which is no security at all. A Dhcp server is a network server that automatically provides and assigns IP addresses, default gateways, and other network parameters to client devices. It relies on the standard protocol known as Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, or DHCP, to respond to broadcast queries by clients. A DHCP server automatically sends the required network parameters for clients to properly communicate on the network. So configuring a DHCP has nothing to do with any security measure. VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, a service that protects your internet connection and privacy online. It creates an encrypted tunnel for your data, protects your online identity by hiding your IP address, and allows you to use public Wi-Fi spots safely. This is a different form of security for a totally different situation, so it doesn't apply in this case. Okay, let us now jump to our 8th question, and the question states: Sarah, a network engineer, would like to connect 3 schools together that reside in different parts of the city. Which of the next options best describe this type of connection? Is it A, a MAN? Is it B, a WAN? Is it C, a PAN? Is it D, a NAS? Or is it E, a LAN? You now have 5 seconds. Okay, a very important thing before trying to pass your CompTIA exam: make sure you understand and memorize the acronyms like MAN, PAN, WAN, SAN, LAN, NAS, WLAN, and make sure you understand them. It's very important because you will find them everywhere in the exam. Okay, now let us now see the correct answer. And the correct answer is A, MAN. A metropolitan area network, or a MAN, is a computer network that connects computers within a metropolitan area, which could be a single large city, multiple cities and towns, or any given large or area with multiple buildings. A MAN is larger than a local area network, or LAN, but smaller than a wide area network, or a WAN. MAN does not have to be in urban areas. The term metropolitan implies the size of the network, not the demographics of the area that it serves. Okay, let us now check the incorrect answers. A wide area network, or a WAN, is a network that exists over a large scale geographical area, as compared to other network types such as a local area network or a LAN. A WAN connects different smaller networks, including local area networks, LANs, and metro area networks, or MANs. So that computers and users in one location can communicate with computers and users in other locations. WAN implementation can be done through either a public transmission system or a private network. A personal area network, or a PAN, connects electronic devices within a user's immediate area. The size of a PAN ranges from a few centimeters to a few meters. One of the most common real-world examples of a PAN is a connection between a Bluetooth earpiece and a smartphone. PANs can also connect laptops, tablets, printers, keyboards, and other computerized devices. PAN network connections can either be wired or wireless. Wired connection methods include USB and FireWire. Wireless connection methods include Bluetooth, which is the most common, Wi-Fi, IRDA, and Zigbee. While devices within a PAN can exchange data with each other, PANs typically do not include a router and thus do not connect to the internet directly. A network attached storage, or a NAS device, is a data storage device that connects to and it's accessed through a network instead of connecting directly to a computer. NAS devices contain a processor and operating system, so it can run applications and provide the intelligence needed for files to be easily shared by authorized people. The beauty of a NAS device is that it can be easily accessed by multiple people, multiple computers, mobile devices, or even remotely, if set up properly, of course. A local area network, or a LAN, is a collection of devices connected together in one physical location, such as a building, office, or home. A LAN can be small or large, ranging from a home network with one user to an enterprise network with thousands of users and devices in an office or school. Regardless of size, a LAN's single defining characteristic is that it connects devices that are in a single limited area. In contrast, a wide area network, or a WAN, or metropolitan area network, or a MAN, covers a larger geographical area. Some WANs and MANs connect many LANs together. Okay, so I hope that everything is clear so far. If so, let us pass to our 9th question. And the question states, John, the network admin, would like to connect 5 offices together that are located in different countries. What would best describe this type of connection? Is it A, a NAT? Is it B, a LAN? Is it C, a SAN? Is it D, a PAN? Or is it E, a WAN? You now have 5 seconds. Okay, so if you followed the last question, the 8th question, you would have guessed that the correct answer is WAN, a wide area network. So we have yet to come across these two acronyms, NAT and the SAN. So let's discuss why these two options are incorrect as well. Okay, so NAT stands for Network Address Translation. It's a way to map multiple local private addresses to a public one before transferring the information. Organizations that want multiple devices to employ a single IP address uses NAT, as do most home routers. Let's say that there is a laptop connected to a home router. Someone uses the laptop to search for directions to their favorite restaurant. The laptop sends this request in a packet to the router, which passes it along to the web. But first, the router changes the outgoing IP address from a private local address to a public address. A storage area network, or a SAN, is a dedicated, independent, high-speed network that interconnects and delivers shared pools of storage devices to multiple servers. Each server can access shared storage as if it were a drive directly attached to the server. And for the last question of our exam, number 10. You are at your office and you are trying to print a document on your laser printer from a specific application. When you verify the laser printer, everything seems to be in good working order, but when you are trying to send a print job, there's no output. All of your other colleagues are able to print on the same device without any issues. Choose from the following list your next best troubleshooting step. Is it A, unplug your printer? Is it B, restart your computer? Is it C, restart the print spooler? Or is it D, verify that the correct printer has been selected in the application? You now have 5 seconds. Okay, another very important thing before attempting the CompTIA exam, besides the fact that you have to memorize the 6-step troubleshooting methodology, make sure that you always question the obvious, because like for example this question, which I see it a very easy question, when you see a question that is extremely easy, it's probably because that's what it is. It is easy. Don't overcomplicate issues. So in this case, the correct answer is D, to verify that the correct printer has been selected in the application. Now, why is that? That would be because all of your other colleagues are able to print on the same device without any issues. So logically, the issue has to be somewhere with you. And in this case, which one of these 4 answers do you think it would be the most obvious and the easiest one to verify first? In my opinion, it's D, to verify that the correct printer has been selected in the application. Okay, ladies and gents, this is the end of our exam. Like I've mentioned at the beginning of this video, don't forget to check in the description of this clip for the link so you can download the exam in PDF format. Also, if you enjoy this content, make sure to subscribe and share this video, and I will keep creating this type of content. I hope you found this video informative, and I will see you guys next time. Peace!